Hello friends! If you have received a letter from the DWP telling you that you need to move to universal credit, or if you are worried about what happens if that letter arrives and you miss it, this video is for you. Right now, DWP is in the middle of one of the biggest benefit changes in the history of the British welfare system. It is called managed migration, and the deadline to respond to that letter is not flexible. If you miss it, your benefits stop. So today I am going to walk you through exactly what happens when the DWP sends you a migration notice, what the deadline means, what happens if you miss it, and critically, what you can do if it has already happened. I have gone through the official DWP guidance confirmed for 2026, and there are things in here that most people do not know until it is too late. Some of these steps can get your payments reinstated, but only if you act quickly. I have saved the most important piece of information for the end, because it is the one that almost nobody talks about. Before we get into it, please subscribe to this channel and turn on the bell notification. I know everyone says that, so let me explain why it genuinely matters here. The managed migration timeline is moving faster than most people realize, and when the DWP updates the rules, they do not ring you. Do not send a follow-up explanation. They send one letter and they wait. People who are subscribed here find out about these changes before the deadline becomes a crisis. People who are not tend to find out afterwards. After the payments have stopped, after the account has been closed, after the window to challenge has already passed. That is the difference. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and let us get into it. First thing to understand is what a migration notice actually is. If you are currently claiming legacy benefits, that includes tax credits, housing benefit, income support, job seekers allowance, or employment and support allowance, the DWP will eventually write to you and tell you that you need to claim universal credit instead. That letter is called a migration notice. And from the day it arrives, you have 3 months to make your claim. Not 3 months from when you open it. Not 3 months from when you decide to deal with it. 3 months from the date printed on the letter. Here is what makes this particularly difficult. Many people do not recognize the letter for what it is. It looks like standard DWP correspondence. Some people set it aside. Some people assume it is a mistake. Some people are in hospital, going through a bereavement, or dealing with something that means post is the last thing on their mind. And the DWP does not follow up. They send the notice and they wait. You do not make your universal credit claim before that 3-month deadline, your legacy benefits are stopped. They do not pause. Do not reduce. They stop. And at that point, you have no income from benefits until you take action. Here is the critical thing most people do not realize. Missing the deadline does not mean it is over. It is not the end. It is the beginning of a different process, and that process has a window too. Your benefits have been stopped because you missed the migration notice deadlines. You can still make a late claim for universal credit. DWP guidance confirms that a claim made within 1 month of your benefit stopping can be treated as if you had claimed on time. That means your payments can be backdated to the date your old benefits stopped, so you do not lose that gap entirely. To do this, you need to contact Universal Credit as soon as possible and explain the situation. The number to call is 080-328-5644. That line is free and available Monday to Friday. So, now there is something else that matters here, and this is the one almost nobody talks about, called a transitional element. When you move from legacy benefits to universal credit, some people end up worse off on paper because universal credit calculates entitlement differently. DWP is required to top up your payments so that you are not worse off at the point of migration. That top-up is called a transitional element. Is the problem? If you miss the migration notice and your benefits are stopped, and then you make a new claim, the DWP may not treat it as a continuation of your old claim, and if they do not, you could lose the transitional element entirely. That protection is only guaranteed if your claim is treated as a managed migration. This is why acting within that 1-month window is so important. It's not just about getting your payments back. It is about getting the right amount of payments. If you are in this situation, you call 080-328-5644, tell them specifically that you missed a migration notice and that you want your claim to be treated as part of managed migration. Use those words, they matter. The third thing to know is what to do if you missed the deadline more than a month ago. It has been more than a month since your benefits stopped. The situation is harder, but it is not hopeless. You can still make a universal credit claim. You will not automatically get backdating, but you may be able to request it if you can show there was a good reason for the delay. Good reasons the DWP accept include serious illness, stay in hospital, a bereavement, or a situation where you genuinely could not manage your affairs. You will need to explain this when you apply and provide evidence if you can. If your claim is refused or your request for backdating is rejected, you have the right to ask for a mandatory reconsideration. You have 1 month from the date of the decision letter to do that. Go to Gov.uk and search Universal Credit Mandatory Reconsideration for the form and the process. The fourth thing, and this is for anyone who has not yet received their migration notice but knows it is coming, is that you do not have to wait. If you are currently on legacy benefits and you want to move to universal credit before the DWP writes to you, you can make a voluntary claim. Important caveat is this. If you move voluntarily, you give up the protection of managed migration. That means you may not be entitled to the transitional element. So, before you make any voluntary move, I would strongly recommend speaking to an independent advisor. Citizens Advice can help with this. Their number is 0800 144 8444 and the service is free. So here is where we are. You received a migration notice and you are still within the 3-month deadline. Claim universal credit now. Do not wait another day. Every day you wait is closer to a payment gap you did not need to have. If you missed the deadline but it has been less than 1 month since your payments stopped, call 080-328-5644 immediately and ask for your claim to be treated as part of managed migration. Use those exact words. Protects your transitional element and gets your payments reinstated from the date they stopped. It has been more than 1 month. Make your universal credit claim as soon as possible and explain the reason for the delay. Request backdating. If you are refused, use the mandatory reconsideration process within 1 month of that decision. If you have not yet received your migration notice, but you are on legacy benefits, do not make a voluntary move without speaking to Citizens. Advice first. The transitional element protection is worth understanding before you act. None of this comes looking for you. DWP is not going to ring. They are not going to send a reminder. The only thing standing between you and your payments is knowing what the process is and taking one step to begin it. If this video has been useful, please subscribe and share it with someone you know who is on legacy benefits or waiting for their migration notice. A parent, a neighbor, a friend. One conversation could make a real difference before a letter arrives they were not expecting. I will see you in the next one.